Welcome to Real Estate Exposed, helping people in San Diego buy, sell, and refinance their biggest investment, delivering you timely truths, exposing important issues, and helping you get into the right home. Here are your hosts, real estate expert Daniel Beer, top-ranked professional by sales volume at one of San Diego's largest brokerages, and his mortgage partner, Todd Pianin, with over $2 billion in funded loans.
Good morning, San Diego. Guess what, Dan? It's your favorite day of the year. It is Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm fired up, man. It's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a good, interesting game, and really more so than anything because I think we're going to be seeing Peyton Manning on his back for much of the day. I don't think he's seen a pass rush like what Carolina is going to bring to him, and I think the guy's just going to. It's going to be a repeat of his Super Bowl with Seattle, where the guy just got pummeled.
So you don't think that Denver stands a chance of winning the Super Bowl?
I don't think you see a game here at all.
Really? Shall we sell a little wager, Dan?
Sure. We could put the wager right here, right on air, so we can hold each other accountable to it.
Okay.
What's the wager?
Let's just do it like they did in Trading Places.
I didn't watch that show or movie or whatever
with
that
Eddie
is.
Murphy. You never saw Trading Places? My God, Dan Beer from the Dan Beer Group. I cannot believe that you never saw.
What's the wager, Todd?
The wager's $1.
Oh, no.
Okay, what do you want to make the wager?
What is it?
That's their in Trading Places is $1. That was a big mutual.
All right, Todd and I are going to be making a big exciting dollar. I have the Carolina Panthers.
No, we can do something interesting. Let's do something interesting. Okay.
Let's do something interesting.
Okay. We'll think about it. We'll talk about it and come back after the break. But I'm going to go with the Broncos. You're going to go with the Panthers, and we'll come up with something after the break, and we'll tell you what we came up with. I think it should be something really, really good. I think it should be like maybe Dan has to work in my office for a day, and I have to work at his office for a day. Maybe something like that.
We'll figure out what we can come up with here at the break. But you are listening to Real Estate Exposed right here on News Radio 600 KOGO, and we're just fired up to be with you in general. A lot going on with the real estate market and a lot going on as far as opportunity. Opportunity is abundant for buyers and sellers right now in the current interest rate environment, in the current supply environment. And we're going to be taking you through exactly how to take advantage of that in today's market. And, of course, we're going to let you know we have our big San Diego home selling workshops coming up. These are the same workshops endorsed by your George Chamberlain right here on KOGO, and they're coming up February 16th, 17th, and 18th. We're holding 6 different workshops, different times and locations around the county. And if you've been looking for a way to sell your home that's been different than what you've done in the past, if you've always felt like, boy, I sold my home, and it seems like my agent really just took some photos and then put them online and waited around for buyers. And then when we finally got a buyer, I was put into a position where it was me versus him or me versus her. And then we weren't even really sure if the offer was any good or not because, let's face it, how do you know you really got full market value when you're negotiating one-on-one with a single buyer? So if you're looking to learn how to actually net upwards of $62,000 more on the sale of your home, how to have it sold predictably within 96 hours of going on the market, how to use buyer psychology in your favor to actually create a negotiating advantage for you, the seller, if you're looking for what home improvements to do, which ones not to do, and staging techniques that will help you net more on the sale of your home. By some studies, Todd, they've said actually 12% more.
Wow.
We're going to help you coordinate all of that and lay out literally the step-by-step process so that you can actually put in place a better and smarter strategy than the methods so widely used by traditional agents out there. And that's where most of us get our information. Those tickets, by the way, are free. You just have to call and check in to make sure that space is still available at the location that you're looking for. And we do have locations around the county. The phone number for those free tickets are 800-676-2420. I'm going to say that again. Just get your pens out. Write this down. 800-676-2420. Call and find out if there's still tickets available. We're having them again around the county, lunchtime or after work. So there should be something that's good and convenient for you so long as tickets are available. Call us now. And by the way, those of you registering those of you registering for the workshop between now and Wednesday, you're going to be eligible for a free termite inspection, a free pest control inspection.
Wow.
So that you know exactly what condition your property's in. You can get it better prepared, and you might even choose to enter into what we would call a certified pre-owned home sale, and that's one of the strategies that you can use as a home seller to differentiate your property. We'll go into all the details there at the workshop, and those tickets, again, are available to you for free at 800-676-2420.
Love it. That's a great little cookie there that you're giving away. I love that. So you guys need to call that number right away. Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank, part of the Todd and Taisha team. You can find us at tntmtg.com. So I also want to talk about other big news that happened this week, Dan. Chargers are going to be here for another year. How do you feel about that?
You know, man. And I was literally just on the news, the 7 o'clock news on gosh, I can't even remember honestly if it was which station it was. So I'm not gonna quote it, but you could find the clip. But anyway, I was just interviewed on the news by Jonathan Horn, who I can't for the life of me remember if he works for ABC or NBC.
Well, you were on Wednesday.
One of the two.
You were on Wednesday morning.
Was it Wednesday morning last week?
Yeah.
So anyhow, and I'm quoted there just saying, they're definitely leaving.
Right.
And what happens 48 hours later is they announce they're staying for a year. So
Right.
they made me look silly. But look, they're still possibly leaving in the long term.
Right.
There's still a lot of uncertainty. The interview had to do more with, our players all throwing their home on the market, thinking they're leaving. The answer is no, but
Right.
they're certainly inquiring about value.
Right.
So it's just as uncertain. This little year together, it's somewhat of a lame duck year. I'm a little fearful actually that the crowd, as bad as it's gotten in the last couple of years, as thin as that Charger crowd has gone, and how many more of the opposing team we see in the stadium.
Right.
And look, keep in mind, I'm a 20-something year ticket holder,
Right.
season ticket holder.
I didn't know that.
Which I won't be anymore this year. Okay, so it could. It's just going to be interesting to see what that environment in the stadium looks like, and if San Diego. I'll tell you this. I hope that we remember just how amazing the environment, the atmosphere, and what it feels like to be a San Diegan when we really know that this team is ours. And I hope we don't judge, the viability of what our market looks like here and a future stadium based on the environment we're likely to have in the next season, because I think it's going to be quite poor.
But I'm hoping that maybe they come, that they're aware of all this, and I'm hoping that maybe they come to some resolutions on what they do about the stadium before that, and I think that would be probably pretty good. But
it looks like they're still exploring. I mean, there is some renewed hope. Doesn't it feel that way?
It
with
does.
The conversation, and it's still interesting to see if they're going to be including. What's this guy's name, Todd? The guy, the attorney the Chargers have been using, who's just completely Fabiani.
Right.
Thank you, Mike. So it'll be interesting to see if they include Fabiani deeply in the conversations moving forward, because it looks like they're seriously considering pushing him out. That guy in the room is a completely different negotiating table than without him, and I think the Chargers know that bridge is not just burnt. I mean,
it's been
burnt,
torn,
crumbled,
crisped.
It's gone, right?
Yep, exactly.
That'll be interesting. I wish all of us here in San Diego the hopeful future of keeping our NFL team.
So the other exciting news that I can't believe, did you see the Iowa caucus results?
I did. And
let's before we talk about the Republicans, let's talk about how close Bernie came.
Bernardo Sanders.
Is
that his name?
Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders. But he's got almost as many delegates out of Iowa as Hillary is. This is a freight train that's moving down a path that I'm sorry, KOGO listeners, I'm a Republican. This could be good. If Bernie actually wins the nomination, this could be good for Republicans.
Well, I think it. I don't know what to think. I'm not that smart, Todd, because she's also just become. I feel like her credibility is really depleted. She's not at her strongest point, at least not from my perception. She's definitely not at her strongest she's ever been. I think she understands that. You're seeing a lot more Bill Clinton at all of her events,
right?
Because even though they're doing their best to stage it as, hey, he's just here as my husband, the reality is that he's there for much more than just being her husband.
Right.
You have the guy literally come out on stage and announce to the world that he has never seen a more prepared candidate that's not an incumbent for the presidency than by some miracle his own wife. So,
seriously,
these
seriously, he said that.
That's what he said on stage, but more than anything is she gave him the platform to do that, and she understands that she needs those votes. It'll be interesting to watch, and of course, you are listening to News Radio 600 KOGO here, Real Estate Exposed with Daniel Beer of the Daniel Beer Group at Windermere and Todd Pianin of Home Street Bank.
And also, let's talk about the Republican Iowa caucus results. Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
out of nowhere. He was 4 or 5 points behind the Donald.
So how much does this have to do with Donald not showing up to the debate?
I think it has a lot to do with him not showing up to the debate.
It was a huge mistake, huh?
Yeah, I think it was. At the end of the day, I think that he put his personal opinion. I think that the people from Iowa are very conservative, and I think that they believe. And Mike, I don't know if you agree with this statement, or you'll even chime in here. But I think the people of Iowa were probably really disappointed that he did not go to that last debate. Mike, our producer's even agreeing with that. He's nodding his head because he won't come on the air because he doesn't want us to pay his talent fee. But
Megyn Kelly has to be feeling great.
She's got to love it. It was like almost putting a knife in his back.
She has to be feeling just unbelievable. It has a lot to do with it.
I think you're right.
I'm convinced it has a lot to do with it.
Yep.
Megyn Kelly may be single-handedly responsible for the fall of the Donald.
Well, I don't think it's the fall of the Donald. I think that Iowa, because it was so close to the GOP debates, I think that it had a lot to do with, Cruz clearly won that debate.
Now, Trump is still far ahead in New Hampshire, so we'll see how that all plays out. And we are listening here to Real Estate Exposed on News Radio 600 KOGO. We're having a lot of fun with you. It is Sunday morning, Super Bowl Sunday, and what better with the Super Bowl Sunday leading into the home selling workshops coming up? We're going to break, but if you need tickets to that workshop while they remain, they're free. And the number's 800-676-2420. It's 800-676-2420. If you call in before Wednesday, you will have your free termite inspection. For those that qualify, we'll be right back with you. Hey, we're back with you. It's Daniel Beer of the Daniel Beer Group at Windermere with Todd Pianin and Home Street Bank. I'm talking to Todd here. And listen up, because this is seriously, we have a lot of fun on the show, but this is an important message. It's something I wasn't expecting us to discuss at the break. I thought we were going to have some fun and discuss our little wager regarding the Super Bowl, but instead, finding out, and keep in mind, I left town for a couple of days, and I'm finding out here at Todd, he was hit by a drunk driver this past weekend, and I'm just feeling blessed to have him sitting here next to me. We're going to talk about drunk driving, what it is, what our kids need to know, and Todd's going to tell his story here that hopefully, if any of you listen to it, if there's any effect here whatsoever, we're going to dedicate this segment to hopefully creating any kind of change, and for us to understand that these are not stories we hear on the news. They're not, they're not just something you read online or in the paper. They're things that your friends go through. And Todd, what happened this weekend?
So Friday night went down to Orange County to see a buddy, and we were actually going to go out, but we decided just to hang out at his apartment. He's a single dad, so as single dads do, they have nothing to drink or eat in their house. So we sat and just drank water. And next thing we know, after all the chatting, I got there about 8:30. After all the chatting, about 10 o'clock, we decided we're not going to go out. It's too late to go out. So we just hung out till about 11:30. I decided I was going to drive home from Orange County back here to San Diego. So he tells me, he said, okay, when you leave my apartment complex, you're going to make a right, a left, and then a right. People who know me know that I can't do anything but follow a navigation system. So literally, navigation system says make a right and then make another right. All I hear is make a right, green light on my side to make a right. I make a right, and next thing I know, I get hit from the back, spin around 4 times, get hit again, and then go over the median, and my car is completely turned in the opposite direction. Now, this happened in front of the sheriff's station, as well as the fire station, as well as some incredible neighbors who came out from all sides.
So you had people come out. Huh?
People came out, called 911, made sure we're okay. It was the person was underage. I'm not going to say anything more about that. She was underage. Got out of the car. Her car, disaster, complete disaster. My car, complete disaster.
She'd been drinking.
She'd been drinking, and yes, all I know is that for sure she's been drinking. I can't speculate on anything else. I can tell you that she had been drinking.
So sure, you have some kind of legal process, whatever it is that'll play out, whether it be through you or through the state, because I believe the state pursues that kind of thing. But that's tremendous, man.
And she was underage. I mean, she was not. I could be wrong about her being underage. I believe she was underage, and I gave my statement to the police. They asked if we need medical attention. At the time, we both declined. And I called my buddy. He came, who's 2 blocks away.
So you walked out of this car.
I walked
completely on your own power.
Yes.
And you were spun around 4 times. Ended up in the median, facing the wrong direction on the highway. Not the highway, excuse me, but on a main
thoroughfare. Yeah, on a main thoroughfare. Yeah. And it was the scariest thing in the world. And if I would have listened to my friend and made a left, Dan, probably wouldn't be here with you this morning.
Because you said you got hit from behind.
Correct.
So if you'd made you made a right turn, got hit from behind. So if you made a left turn, you would have got hit head on or driver's side.
Driver's side, and just been smashed and crippled and may not be talking to you right now. So, I did.
What's the takeaway here?
The takeaway here for me was, first thing I did was I got home and I hugged my kids. I hugged my kids. I talked to my son, who's 8. And I explained to him about, drunk driving and how no way on the planet, no matter where he is, that, this is not acceptable. And it was, and I got pretty emotional. My buddy got pretty emotional too, because he saw what happened and he knew that if I would have made a left, we believe, and the officer believes, there's no way I would be here right now. So it was a pretty emotional night. I would say it took him 3 hours to get the tow truck out, and at 3:00 in the morning we finally left, but it was freezing cold outside. So, and then I took an Uber home from Orange County, Uber will now be my best friend in the whole entire world. And it will be my best friend for all my other friends whenever I go out with them. The big takeaway I would say is that, just don't drink and drive. One drink don't even have one drink and drive. It does not.
The problem is that people do it once. We all know people do it.
Yeah.
We all know people. It's not just who does it. We all know people do it. And the problem is they do it once, and they're fine.
They do it again.
So it's like a drug.
Right.
You do that, you do a drug one time. Hey, you didn't die. You didn't turn into a bad person. You're still there. You can do it again.
Right.
You can do it again. Yeah, right. So the problem is people do it once, they survive, nothing really happens, it's uneventful, so they do it again, and they do it again. And there's no going back, though, from having rear-ended somebody, and who knows how fast this woman was going, drunk, and taking somebody's life potentially. I think a big takeaway for me, Todd, and I'm really thankful you shared the story, because I have a 2-year-old. You have an 8-year-old.
And a 2-year-old.
And a 2-year-old.
Right.
And it's never too early to talk to your kids about things like this. And it's making me think about my own childhood and, things that, like the DARE program, that anti-drug program in the 80s would come to your school. And it's amazing, actually, how I still have certain perceptions about the dangers of certain things that I don't do.
Right.
And it's because I was talked to about those things very early in my life, before I was in high school or middle school, or before I was in the age when kids start getting into things. My perception of those things got formed on an early age, so it is not too early, and good for you for talking to your 8-year-old. My 2-year-old might be still too young, only because he's still trying to understand peanut butter.
Exactly. My 2-year-old's too young, but...
Talk to your kids.
Yep.
Take Todd's story. The guy's in pain here in front of me.
Glad to be here with you, though, on Super Bowl Sunday. This is KOGO 600. Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank.
I'm Daniel Beer with the Daniel Beer Group. Coming back, we're going to get back to real estate. We're going to get back to making you more money on your sale and purchase. And that's coming up here, along with the wager Todd and I are making on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, see, I made Lewis a bet here. Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put y'all in the poorhouse at the same time. He didn't think we could do it. I won.
I lost. $1.
That's the amount that Todd Pianin is going to be handing over to me, Dan Beer, after tonight's game.
Well, we changed the bet after the break. We decided that the bet would be, what did we decide?
So here's to be on the record here officially.
Yes.
This Dan Beer over here at Windermere Daniel Beer Group. I believe that the Carolina Panthers are going to completely annihilate the Broncos. Now, it's too late for Todd to ask for a spread so that he can actually hope to make this thing fair, because I'm not giving him a spread anymore.
I'm not asking for it.
We're going to go there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, and it's going to be a straight bet, even though the guy should have asked me for a spread.
Nope. Wouldn't ask for it.
I'm taking the Panthers, he's taking the Broncos, and the bet we're having is, and we'll tell you where we'll be, by the way. We'll end up telling you where we'll be on next week's show, in case any of you want to come out and witness it on your own. But we're going to go out to a nice restaurant. Dinner will be on the loser, and the loser will be wearing a vest, a nice fancy vest, but there's a catch to it. This loser's going to be wearing a nice fancy vest with no shirt underneath at this nice fancy restaurant. And I cannot wait to see Todd. I might hire a photographer to just take photos of him.
I'm gonna hire the photographer
to take pictures of you.
Of you, because you're gonna be wearing the vest. There's no way Peyton's not ending his career without a Super Bowl win. I just think it's his time. It's his year. As he said to Bill Belichick 2 weeks ago, this could be my last rodeo. It is gonna be his last rodeo, and you're gonna be wearing the vest, and all your chest hairs are gonna be popping out. It's gonna be awesome. I'm Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank. You can find my partner and I at tntmtg.com. You can call us. Dan's going to give you the number after. But the other thing I want to talk to you about today, because this is Real Estate Exposed, in my mailbox this weekend, Dan, was a postcard that looked like a letter from somebody.
A little handwritten note.
From somebody saying that they wanted to buy my house.
Yeah. So we're going to expose what's going on, because like Todd said, this is Real Estate Exposed right here on KOGO 600. And
we can actually post it on our Facebook page. We can post it.
Yeah, we'll put a picture of this. That's a good idea. Definitely a good idea. So we're going to put a picture of this thing up. So here's what it is. Todd receives this little pink, bright, handwritten note with a stamp on it. Stamped purposefully, by the way, put on slightly crooked so that it looks like it's been touched by the user or by the person sending it. The message simply states, "Dear Mr. Pianin, my name is Tiffany. My friend Barbara and I would like to $buy your house at XXX address." I'll just keep that confidential. Please call me at 858-472-2908. Thanks, Tiffany. So this is the little postcard he gets. Now here's the truth, and this is why this is Real Estate Exposed. This very clever note, very, very clever note. And I can tell you that if I weren't in the business, and if I weren't widely aware of what most everybody does from a marketing perspective,
Dan, to be honest with you, if I had known that our relationship, I would have picked up the phone and called.
See, this note, you need to be wary of things like this. Listen to this again. Hi, my name is Tiffany. My friend Barbara and I would like to $buy your house. We'd like to buy your house. Keep in mind, Tiffany and Barbara have never seen his house. Keep in mind, his house isn't on the market. Okay? What this is that they are sending these out. It looks like handwriting. It looks like it's been written by pen. It even has smudges. So I actually know of printers that will put... They have fonts that look identical to handwriting, and they literally purposefully smudge the writing in order to make it look that much more real. They purposefully put the stamp on slightly crooked to make it look that much more real, and they send these out. Thanks, Tiffany. Not a last name, not in anything, just the vaguest. Look. Folks,
so is it like a lead gen service that's doing it, or is it a realtor that's sending those out?
It's most likely an agent or a person looking to buy property at 50 cents, 60 cents on the dollar. So it's either an agent or an investor They're sending these out. It's maybe not through a service made exactly for this purpose, but rather there are printing houses that, you know, if you contact the right ones, you can have them do this. Or it might be a service that's specifically doing this now and packaging it for agents or for investors.
What I thought was really weird.
But it's not real is the point.
What I thought was weird is because you have a listing in my neighborhood, and there's another listing. It's the same model matches. There's 2 model matches to mine, I think, in my neighborhood.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself,
why do they need to send you this?
Why do they send me this? They could just buy Dan's listing right up three. You know, I mean, because I'm in a track home, right? I mean, their upgrades maybe a little different, whatever, but it's the same floor plan, and they can just go buy Dan's home, which is on the market. And
the answer to that is because it's not real. Take this with you. If it's too good to be true, it is. Okay, and I'm not the first to say that. I'm probably the millionth person to say that. But all of us tend to forget it when we get a little too good to be true nugget in our mailbox, in our inbox, in our email, and, you know, meet somebody that just seems to be offering us the world. It's too good to be true. Ask yourself, why does this Tiffany not want to buy all the, you know, there's a couple, literally, like Todd said, a couple of identical floor plans to his available in his neighborhood, yet she wants to buy this one, his house specifically. She's dying for it, and she's willing to pay big bucks.
Well, what was funny to me is I'm literally...
And it's a bunch of BS.
Literally skipping from my mailbox after I get this, thinking to myself...
It's messing with you.
It's totally messing with me, and I'm like, okay, Dan's out of town, and so I can't really, I don't want to take a picture of it and send it to him because he was out of town for the weekend. I'm like, nothing's going to happen until Wednesday, so let me just show it to him when I see him, because we had an appointment set for Wednesday. So I just was like, so literally completely, you know, and I think I'm a pretty smart guy, and I think that I know I don't fall for these scams, but you know, I possibly could have been one of those guys that fell for those scams.
So look, and it's not that, and just to be very clear, it's not necessarily that somebody's going to scam you, like steal your house from you, but it is that you're walking your way, you're basically just falling into somebody's trap, either an agent's trap or an investor's trap. And frankly, I think it stinks, right? Because there are people out there that are going to become ultra excited. They're skipping around. They're saying, hey, someone wants to pay me the world for my property. Just be aware, this wasn't even really handwritten. It was... It was done through a marketing company. There are
better ways to sell your home, and that's what we talk about at the Home Seller Seminar, right, Dan?
Yeah, and those workshops are coming up. So here's the deal. These San Diego home selling workshops, same workshops endorsed by your own George Chamberlain here on KOGO, they're coming up on February 16th, 17th, and 18th. We're going to go ahead and reveal the locations, okay? We have locations coming up. We're doing the workshops at both lunchtime and after work, so there's a time convenient to you. And that workshops are coming up this time around in Mission Valley, which is going to make it very convenient for anybody coming up from the South Bay or from East County. There are going to be workshops, of course, the downtown metro area and all the rest of that.
Right.
There's going to be workshops available in Rancho Bernardo. Very, very convenient for anybody up and down the 15. Maybe even into Carmel Valley, maybe even into a place like Forest Ranch.
It's a great room. We've had great success there. Lots of people there.
Really wonderful. And we're going to have them available in Carlsbad and serve that Tri-City area. Okay? So there is one convenient to you. There's one nearby. And this is where you're going to learn how to put a process in place that just completely looks different from what every agent you've ever known has fed you. All of us have our concept, of what a home sale should look like based on what agents do. Even agents have their own concept of what they're supposed to do based on what agents that came into the market before them were doing. And then you observe what they do, you start doing that. Well, let me tell you, it is a completely broken process. And I'll just leave you with one question. If you have always been suspect that the best way to maximize value on the sale of your home is to simply put it online and, put it on the quote unquote, put it on the market, wait around for a buyer, and then that's it. Get an offer, negotiate it, and there's your best price that you could possibly get. If you've always been suspect of that and
list and pray.
List and pray. If you've always been suspect of that list and pray method, then you need to attend the workshops. These are purely educational events where you walk away with understanding exactly how to put a process in place that will help you net upwards of $62,000 more on the sale of your home. It's going to show you how to create a negotiating advantage over the buyer. And we're going to talk about home improvements, staging techniques. We're going to be talking about what you really need to know about price. Price is one of the most misunderstood elements of the marketing process. And we're going to put that all together and bring it to you so that you can put it in action for your home sale. If you want tickets to this free event, call while they're still available for any of the locations. And the phone number is 800-676-2420. The tickets are free while available, and you'll be eligible for a free termite inspection, pest control inspection, if you sign up for the workshop before Wednesday. Call for your free tickets, and the phone number is 800. Okay, that's 800-676-2420. Coming up after the break, Todd and I have a nugget for you don't want to miss. Welcome back to Real Estate Exposed. It's our final segment on Super Bowl Sunday, and the really nice news for home buyers out there. While the stock market's been getting roughed up a little bit, so has something else, and that's interest rates.
Interest rates have been tumbling, Dan. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, when we do the home seller seminars, when we put the chart up, I'm a little. We usually say we're moving in an upward moving interest rate environment, but our yields are coming down. We're almost at a 12-month low.
And listen to what this man has to say, because this is Todd Pianin at Home Street Bank. Okay, he's really one of the best lenders, not just here in San Diego, but in Southern California. Guy knows what he's talking about. That's why we refer so much business to him. If you want to connect with him, by the way, you can call 800-676-2420. You can also look up Todd Pianin at Home Street Bank online. Just Google him, find him on Facebook. Todd.
Or TNTMTG.com takes you right there. So that's TNTMTG.com.
Interest rates are getting roughed up. Explain why. Where's the opportunity here? And what are you doing right now to take advantage of it with your clients?
Well, what we're doing is we're locking everybody in, right? I mean, so basically we're taking advantage of it because I think this is a short-term little drop, and I think I've been calling for that on the show. But you're seeing interest rates get roughed up because the economy is not as good as everybody thinks it is, and the global economy is even worse. I mean, Japan's in a mess, China's in a mess, and it's affecting our stock market. And the overselling that happened right after Yellen said she was going to raise interest rates 4 times this year was already priced into the marketplace, and now we're kind of coming back to like normalcy. I mean, have you seen the price of oil recently too? I mean, oil's tumbled. It's popped up a little bit because of interest rates coming down, but we're seeing rates back to levels that we haven't seen in a year and a half. I mean, if you bought a house in the last year, I hate to say this to you, you need to call Taisha or I, or go to tntmtg.com and get our information, because we should be refinancing you.
Give us a number where you can actually be reached very directly.
Very directly, 858-259-4014.
Say it one more time.
858-259-4014. That is my direct line. Myself, my assistant will answer that line. You will not be, if you call after hours, you'll get voicemail, but during the day, you'll always get a live person.
Folks, if you're thinking about buying a home, if you're refinancing your property that you bought a year ago, like Todd just said, reach out. There's literally no downside to getting in front of a professional, an industry-leading professional like Todd and his team, because one of two things are going to happen. They're going to either provide you with the best rate and service that you have available. And by the way, sometimes it's more than rate. There are people out there that enter into, again, like we talked about in the last segment, too good to be true rates, only to do that with a lender that cannot perform and cannot perform on time, especially with all the new lending regulations that are in our market right now. And then what happens is that rate benefit they were hoping for, it goes away because their rate lock expires, they need to pay for extensions, and they get hit on the back end. If you want to talk to somebody you know will deliver exactly what they promise you, and then shop that and look at somebody else and see what you can find, fine. But call Todd, because then you at least have a sure thing, and you know that you can get what he's providing.
Thanks, Dan.
Call Todd, get in touch with them, get in touch with us, and a phone number again, Todd, where you can be directly reached.
858-259-4014.
And he's actually one of the presenters at our home selling workshop. So if you want to come and just meet the team, if you want to find out why it is that in 2015 we were able to sell on my team. Okay, we sold 122 homes. Now, keep something in mind: the average agent in the marketplace here in San Diego County last year sold about 3.7 homes over the course of the year. So the only reason I'm sharing that with you, it's not for a pat on the back, but it's so that we understand that when we're out there getting information and advice from our cousins and coworkers, and your hairdresser that also happens to sell homes on the side part-time, or those of you actually thinking about selling your own property, God bless you and good luck, because even those trying to focus on doing it full-time, for the most part, aren't able to. That's where most of us get our advice. But when you're getting advice from all these places, you need to understand what kind of experience is behind it. If you want to get advice from, and if you want to learn the actual step-by-step process that our team employed to sell 122 homes last year, Todd, how many loans did you guys fund?
Oh, last year we must have funded upwards of 200 million.
$200 million in real estate. So
no, that was just loans. So you got loans. So
the real estate value was higher because that was 80% of it or whatever it might be.
Exactly.
So if you want to understand and get information on what produces that kind of result, and again, the workshops aren't about working with us. It's actually the only place where we give you the process. We give you the method. Who you employ it with, how you do it, how you approach the market, that's entirely up to you. And we really just want to raise the bar for how homes are sold here in San Diego. I personally don't like how easy it is to become an agent. I just think it's too easy. It's such a limited, it's such a low bar. If we can improve the home selling process across San Diego County by sharing with you the exact method and process that we use to sell homes with the effectiveness that we do and to have them predictably sold within 96 hours of going on the market, then the workshop's for you. Call and find out if we still have tickets available for the times and locations that will be most convenient to you. It's about an hour and 15 minutes or so of your time, and you literally walk away knowing how to sell a home better than most any agent could do for you.
And we also, the lunchtime times, we provide lunch, so don't think you need to bring a sack lunch to the seminar.
We provide, exactly. It's an awesome service. It's really a public service to San Diego County, and the phone number for those free tickets is 800-676-2420. Again, 800-676-2420. I'm Daniel Beer with Windermere Homes and Estates, the Daniel Beer Group.
I'm Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank, a member of the FDIC Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 304014. Go Broncos!
Yeah, we'll see, Todd. See you in your vest.